Hi, it is July 9th, 2021. I'm going to talk about just bear with me on what if, because right now that's all I got. I am working with, okay, now I'm going to just say this. Time travel would be the only science, well, among them in that form that have to do with transtemporal, that proves itself proven to even the prover before they prove it, and as I say often, before I even knew what was going on. So I realized my channel is literally, it's just not important, guys, if you don't want to watch. It's just not important. Quantum shit, you know. The fun thing about quantum, I'm just going to let free words come out. When you deal with quantum science, first and foremost, what you state about it, whether before or after, dealing with the fact that it's transtemporal, ultimately is the answer. The computer is behaving to that which you have made in conclusion, even in supposition. So then I'm going to make suppositions that are awesome because I want transtemporal Christmas presents. So what if there is a light that is so high frequency that it really is dark? Now here's where I get my theory from versus just assumption. Given that sound, when you go supersonic, the actual aircraft or spacecraft, really in the air, is going faster than the sound waves can keep up with. So it's really silent. It detonates for that without detonating. But I mean, it goes faster than sound, so we can't hear it coming. So after it passes, then there's a boom, usually two. I think an echo boom. I don't know the whole. So then superluminal. It stands to reason that something superluminal would be dark. But there would also be Cherenkov radiation in the form maybe double flash, maybe one flash. Maybe it's too fast to witness that there's two. I don't know. It'll definitely be blue. But here's what's cool. It might just be white. Might be like that. So I don't know. I know this. The higher the frequency, the higher the likelihood. Number one, I believe that it's not, I believe there's a way to look at light quantumly, that it does what it's told, and that it's also quantum entangled with other frequencies. So when you use light that's lower powered in an interferometer, it's going to behave as it's been told in the book. All the photons go to one detector. Why not the other detector? It's a 50% mirror. What's really going on? So then it stands to reason, based off quantum entanglement, because light is all light, right? That there is a light that gets to the other detector, and it's dark. You need a dark detector. So then you need like a black mirror or a white surface that it would stick to. And it's probably going to be cold, like the DeLorean even. Because why the hell does that happen? I don't know, but my heart says it makes sense. I want you guys to think as scientists from your heart. Gut feeling, instinct. If it feels right with your root, you're probably not wrong. There's probably stuff you got to piggyback off though. So I got to thinking about grazers. Gamma is the highest thing we can think of, right? But I believe that's an entire rainbow of rainbows. So there's probably a, I don't like to call it delta because that infers infrared, and that's a whole other conversation. I like to call it digamma, which is also the letter phi or p in that old way of speaking, with respect to square root of 5 plus 1 divided by 2. I believe it would be extremely instrumental in quantum science, especially since we're already utilizing light in China with respect to blades and cups and all these other fun things that we could, if we communicate with each other multinationally, globally, as a family, realize that we're all one family, not just one race, we're a family. We're a family, not just a community, not just a neighborhood, a family. We're all related. There's a book about it. There are many. So let's decide on this. Okay, if Moses parts the sea, then maybe the sea that I know of, the constant known as the universal constant, which we dared call it. What's constant about something that already showed that it's fluctuating? The first man to actually, yes, it was a man, who first measured the speed of light, used gears on a thing, and he got to 313,000 kilometers per second. more than one time. He witnessed this. He utilized gears. That's a 5% increase in what we understand it to be this day. So what if, just bear with me, what if light is quantum? What if there really is a chance that we can adjust the speed of the constant just by believing in it? And if you have enough people that understand science by major strongholds in the very fabric of creation, meaning we understand 2 + 2 doesn't always equal 4, given that we can understand there are 2 of these and 2 of those, versus 2 and 2 of the same. So then there are other ways to even reason that. I'm sure we can go spectral on it, meaning there's a rainbow of options to the power of x, and then again to the power of x, and then again to the power of x. And that takes me around to that multidimensional computer that we haven't built yet, that ultimately in the future utilizes a naked black hole, which also utilizes gravity, which apparently my signature, that which is my spirit itself, the crystal that is our aura, witnessed itself into a black hole somehow. So that's just my faith. I believe in it. What if? I could be wrong. I am weird, so I like to think that animals got being with my signature into it, because there was some experiences I can only explain by the will of the experience. I know what it feels like to have 8 legs and fangs and everything, and it's weird. But anyway, that's weird, and I know how I sound, so I want to just move sideways off that and come back to what if and quantum. If we can get into a transtemporal communication, basically we're doing it now because you're watching this and I'm past tense. So hi. So we just had an interactive moment because I heard that was, yeah, it's kind of cool. So at least that's there, right? And I guarantee what if one day finally says, yeah, we did. Imagine that descendants to the power of X, if you can't believe in yourselves, suddenly actually acquired the gift of being able to talk back across time, given quantum entanglement already proved that we can do it, given China does it with the satellite every day. We build a device that uses quantum entangled particles of the substance that I've mentioned several times. It's easier. It's easier than light, in my opinion. I don't know how to work with a photon. I don't know how to make quantum entangled photons yet. But I do know how to make quantum entangled matter. So I do know how that works. And I do know that if you build one today, and then also use the same chemical, even if it's built in another time, that happens to utilize the same hub, meaning 0 and or 1, 0 and or 2 reader, for the sake of X being whatever the number is coming from that chip that's named the same number. I'm sure it even has names in it. We might have numeric values. We may even have other languages representing that X. It may not just be, maybe it's just symbols. We might get alien technology too. You know what I'm saying? This is utilizing a universal, there is one universal constant, black holes. Black holes are always there. The cool part about that is that means galaxies are always there. We'll be able to reverse time to these things in time, and then de-age the sun, as in the solar, as in, you know, that thing right there. We'll be able to. Alright, so we're talking about digamma with respect to parting, C being gamma is the C of C. So you got C squared in that all of itself. So it almost stands to reason transcendentally. And then of course it's transtemporal, given it would be superluminal in speed in that format. I'm calling it -2, K, with respect to imaginary numbers, and that each imaginary number represents, to the power of X, given imaginary any infinity that's to the square root of minus what and what, and it's a little housing. It's like the math formula for the infinity houses, the little toy houses you guys are working on up there at UNCC, or hopefully, or at least you will be when I come up there, if not already. Let's see what else I can say. That it pretty much, I made a lot of repeated messages on this to show you that it's actual. If I'm getting a repeat message, I'm telling you my signature's in a device in the future. I've already known that because I felt what it's like to have my brain in the thing, but not my actual physical brain, just the, oh man, I sound nuts. So, okay, moving along now. I want to say I'll be able to prove it once I show transtemporal substantiation on a level that's undeniable, even by the doubtingest doubter that ever doubted. So I've been trying to be the doubtingest doubter that ever doubted, so no one else had to. And when this thing kicks off, y'all are gonna be happy to meet this nerd. I'll tell you what, to the power of X, fractal. given it'll be to the power on the orders of magnitude, 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 utilizing chips we haven't even built yet, because the machine is the ladder to heaven, temporal, given heaven is the future, given we all know happily ever after is what we really want. I had to make an order for that in the phone, please. Not an order, but like you're placing an order. Okay, so let's think of some more let your inner child dreams come true. Make a wish. Transtemporal. I mean, we can write down some fun things that would be fun to see, and then we get a message back across the thing transtemporally. I can prove it to you in time. I just need to actually show Sublime. Something about Sublime. Crystal cycle computer, plasma crystal cycle. Crystals can exist in any state. Okay, that's one thing I hadn't known, but Manpe demonstrated it a long time ago when I used to experiment and find who I was, and I got to see that this substance was doing stuff, and they weren't hallucinations. I was able to photograph them and even actually video some of the stuff in action at the time of. So I actually have that on my channel. I just have them unlisted for now because I'd rather not publicly proclaim what I was doing. But I guess that's what I'm doing now, given I know that even if you believe that I would use anything like that again, given what's written about it, being that the substance does what it's told, you might change what you say about these meth houses being condemned places, because the molecule's like, okay, so let it be. It doesn't condemn the house, but actually like protects the structure instead, and watch what happens. So that's the new order for that, which is Manpe, given that's what it is. And those houses that had been quote-unquote condemned with it, they are still in the walls painted over with lead. Somehow that's safer with that it is, given we didn't shoot anybody with it. That's a long story. I say wit in place of no so that I don't have to get confused. And alright, so that's just recorded so we know what that's all about. When I say I wit that, I know that is what I'm really saying. And also witness, for the sake of it's coming out in testimony from that of a future tense me through my past on YouTube TV, so that people can see that it's real. All you have to do is believe. I will prove that that's actual. The substance of faith is gravity, gravitas, true form, what you fully believe in sincerely, like this screen right here that you can't see but I see, so I know it's there, but you can hear that it exists, so you know that it's really there. It's really there, just like the camera, you know what I mean? The point of this is to say that quantum is about what you see, what you conclude. So if you say, first of all, if people know you with absolute honesty and absolute accuracy, then when you say something, it made the thing happen in conclusion. So a quantum system is going to behave as you need it to. So when those systems failed because you watched it, it's simply because not only you said it by writing, and I just said it here because it has to listen to posterity. That's what a quantum system does. Troublemaker. So why does K represent -2? Because J almost looks like an I, and it's like more will be revealed in time. I gotta figure out what imaginary number that is, but there is an imaginary number. The square root of where O represents plus or minus 0, the square root thereof. A negation plate, a negation gate. A negation gate is important. So notice what's happening when we build a computer with more options, abilities. Suddenly it looks like our neurons do the same thing. It's like, wait a minute, I thought they only did yes or no. They do yes or no, yes and or no to the power of X, given every neurotransmitter. It seems like we have new ones every year, doesn't it? We used to just have opiates and adrenals. We got cannabinoids and anandamides. We've got acetylcholine. We've got, name it, we'll find one. The cool thing is all that stuff is real and interacts. And then water, man, we get down to hyperfine and we're playing with stuff. All right, that's what I want to talk about. What if there is a laser crystal, a diode, that doesn't actually have to be pumped? You fill it up until it, like ice 8 comes to mind, ice 8, and then metallic water. So whatever that is, and it would literally, and there's a possibility that every periodic table element can go into metallic state, even the noble gases, even if for a moment, until it evaporates, meaning it depressurizes in front of you. This is noble gas, so it'll go back to gas form. But that metal might be the most yes state, for lack of a better word, of any periodic element. And then we might be able to see if ice 8 does what I think it does, and you're able to pump light into it, and then like a diamond light, you know how light slows down in a diamond, and you'd be able to fill the crystal up until it is such a full crystal of light that it cuppeth overflow. You just have a collimating tube, so it fires out of that thing with the amount of wattage I can't even pretend to imagine yet. Probably yada yada yada, I don't know. But then I just like to say things because it sounds cool, so I'm just still talking because yada yada yada. So just note that more will be revealed because I don't know. I just like to think and imagine that maybe transtemporally someone's actually listening. And there is reason for me to believe it. I've had some weird experiences and I'd love to talk about it, but I've got to substantiate. So more will be revealed, as always stated. Thank you all for everything you are and do, always. To the power of X, fractals. Love and peace, and E, all three. To the power of X even. Cheers.